Hello students, we will discuss about prestige, the real wealth of man. It is sometimes said that the pleasure of giving is peculiar to the rich, and no doubt the pleasure of giving is one of the greatest and purest which wealth can bestow. Still, the poor also may be liberal and generous. The widows might, so far as the widow at any rate is concerned, counts for as much as the rich man's gold. Moreover, as regards kindness and sympathy, which are far more valuable than money, the poor can give as much as, perhaps even more than, the rich. Money is not wealth. There are those whom we look down upon as poor, who may be in reality as rich as any millionaire. That which is of most value in life is exactly that which can neither be bought nor sold. A proverb says, a man's true wealth is the good he does in the world. When he dies, men will ask what property he has left behind him. What angels will inquire what good deed hast thou sent before thee. इसकी प्रेस्टीज है, the pleasure of giving is the greatest and purest. What it cannot be done without wealth. Only the rich can have pleasure of this kind. What the poor can be also generous and liberal and get similar pleasure by being kind and sympathetic. So the real wealth of a man is not money, but his good deeds. The richness of a person is judged not by what he possesses, but by what he does for the good society. Title इसका the suitable title suggested to the passage is the real wealth of man. Next time, if men begin with speech and civilization, with agriculture, industry, begin with fire. Man did not invent it, probably nature produced the marvel for him by the frictions of leaves or twigs, a stroke of lightning, or a chance union of chemical. Man merely had the saving wit to imitate nature and to improve upon her. He put the wonder to 1,000 use. First, perhaps he made it serve as a torch to conquer his fearsome enemy, the dark, when he used it for warmth and moved about freely from his native topics to less innovating. John slowly making the planet human. Then he applied it to meals, softening them, tempering them, and combining them into forms stronger and more supple than those in which they had come to his hand. It was fire that created the old and honorable art of cooking, extending the diet of man to 1,000 foods that could not be eaten before. So beneficent and strong was it that fire always remained a miracle to the primitive man fit to be worshipped as God. He offered it countless ceremonies of devotion and made it the center of focus of his life, and whom he carried it carefully with him as he moved from place to place in his wanderings and would not willingly let it die. Even the Romans punished with death the careless virgins of Temple of Vesta who allowed the sacred fire to be extinguished. Precision fire has done wonders in our life. It was not invented by anyone, it was rather produced by nature through frictions and union of chemicals. Man improved upon it and put it to thousand uses. He used it to remove darkness, warm himself, and cook his meals. The ancient man worshipped fire as God. He always carried it with him and never allowed it to in recent times. Oh, our industry has come out of it. The suitable title suggested to the passage is Marvel of Fire. Actions and contemplations both are essential for life, and there should be a proper harmony between the two. Contemplations alone will not help us unless our thoughts are adequately expressed in actions. If we are constantly absorbed in things, we become unfit for the affairs of life. We then lose will and courage to combat wrong and injustice and to improve life by our effort. That is why Mahatma Gandhi laid a greater stress on actions than on thought. Plato recommended to the wise men a life of serene contemplations, but even he advised him to give up life of serene contemplations and to enter the field of actions for the good of mankind. The philosopher king will not be a man of pure contemplations but of actions combined with philosophy. Men of thought too have also been men of action combined with philosophy. Buddha, Christ, Gandhi were men of contemplations as well as men of actions. A really wise man is not like a philosopher in the tub, but like Socrates is associated with the problems of life. Socrates exposed the ignorance of his contemporaries and thereby showed that ignorance was the root cause of all all the evils. A wise man is concerned with life, and if he prescribed for telling the truth, like Socrates, he does not hesitate to drink the cup of poison. इसकी प्रेसिज है एक्शन एंड कंटेम्पलेशंस आर essential for our life. Contemplations alone is not enough for life. It should be rather combined with actions. Contemplations without actions make people unfit for affairs of life. All men of thought like Mahatma Gandhi, Buddha, Christ, Socrates were men of action also. Even Plato recommended action for a man of thought. Thoughts are meaninglessness if they are not translated into action. Even philosopher kings combine their thoughts with actions. This is essential for the good of mankind. इसका टाइटल है The suitable title suggested to the passage is Action versus Contemplations.